The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Overall, I think this is a really fun book. I do have some mixed opinions on it, but depending on what you're looking for, this could be the book for you. If you like grim, dark adventures that don't take themselves too seriously, it's like a dark comedy overall. But that's some surface level stuff. Maybe you hear a dark fantasy comedy of sorts, and you just think, yep, I want to read that. Good for you. If you want something a little bit deeper, let's hop into a plot synopsis. Now, I'm only going to be giving surface level stuff here in terms of the plot, so no need to worry about major spoilers or anything, or even really minor spoilers for that matter. We have our main character, Alex, who discovers via an uncle that she is actually the long lost princess and rightful heir to the throne. So she is to be made empress, as she is the next in line. And it's kind of regardless of if she wants it or not. She's in line, so she's got to go do it. Now, she needs to be escorted to Troy, preferably in secret, because she has 4 cousins that would not like her to be alive anymore. Because if they kill her, then they'll be the ones next in line for the throne, and then they need only squabble amongst themselves. Hello. Hi, you want on my lap? And so the church calls in Brother Diaz, who is a monk that they just kind of need to lead the group, just because they need a monk from the church to lead what is known as the Church of Holy Expediency. Don't touch the microphone, please. And the Church of Holy Expediency is essentially a group of monsters, criminals, what have you, that is under the imprisonment slash control of the Catholic Church. They get sent out on missions that the church wants to be done, that they might need done in secret, and they are given a papal binding by the Pope. Papal? Papal? Pretty sure it's papal. They're given a papal binding by the Pope where if they were to go against any of the orders of the monk that is in charge, bad things happen. It's nothing too serious. They get really sick. So, Brother Diaz gets brought in to be the monk in charge of the Church of Holy Expediency to escort Princess Alexia to Troy to take the throne. That's the basic setup. And we have a really fun cast of characters within the Church of Holy Expediency. And I think that it's the cast of characters that really overall made this book for me, because they are all wildly entertaining to read and just brimming with personality. So outside of just Brother Diaz and Alexia, we have Jacob of Thorn, who's kind of the real de facto leader of the Church of Holy Expediency, who is essentially an immortal knight that has just lived through so many battles, and he is so jaded, and he's just kind of done with everyone's nonsense. We have Baptiste, who is a jack-of-all-trades type character. It's kind of a running gag throughout the book where someone will mention any kind of job, and Baptiste will say, I did that for a while. Because she's done a little bit of everything, so you never know what she's got up her sleeve. And then we have some of the more nefarious characters that are a part of the Church of Holy Expediency. First of all, there is Balthazar, who is one of the 3 strongest necromancers in all of Europe. We have Sunny, who is an elf, and in this world, elves are kind of demonized. Basically, humans and elves have been at war for generations. Many of the crusades within this world were fought against elves. So just having an elf imprisoned, and she has the ability to turn invisible whenever she holds her breath, which is always a fun little ability. We have Viga, who is a Scandinavian werewolf, which, to my understanding, is a bit different from our usual conception of werewolves, where it's like, oh, full moon, turn into monster. Scandinavian werewolves, I think, are more like the Hulk, where they can just shapeshift into this monstrous wolf-like creature. And then, finally, we have my personal favorite character, Baron Ricard the Vampire. He is so ancient that he's gone a little crazy and he just kind of doesn't care anymore. Regardless of if he's subject to the papal binding or not, he's just here for something to do. And I find that hilarious. Just seeing him in action, the lines that he gives, he's just so much fun to read, and I like him a lot. And throughout several of the chapters, you get the different perspectives of all the characters and the specific writing style for each chapter. You can tell within just a few sentences whose perspective you're getting. They're all so unique and written so differently from each other that their personalities really shine through from scene to scene, whether it be Jacob's pure stoicism and no nonsense analytical mind, whether it be Balthazar's sense of superiority and smugness at being one of the best magicians in the land. Maybe it's Viga's ADHD riddled brain, where you can just tell within a few sentences, okay, this is a Viga chapter. They're all written so well and so clearly from each other, and the way that they bounce off of each other is just a really fun dynamic to see throughout the books. I really think the characters are the selling point for this book for me. If you are like me and like DC Comics, you're probably thinking the same thing I was thinking, where this is basically the exact same premise as the Suicide Squad, where, the Catholic Church has a group of kind of villainous people to go and do missions for them covertly, which is the exact same setup as the Suicide Squad in DC Comics, where the government has supervillains under their control to do covert missions for them. So this book is basically Catholic Suicide Squad, and I love it for that. It felt like reading a superhero movie in a lot of ways, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you're looking for. It did give off a lot of the same vibes as the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie, which I enjoyed, so I enjoyed the book. But that does come with a few issues. I think that the humor within the book can get a little grating if you want something to be a bit more serious. There's been a lot of critique of Marvel movies, for example, having the Marvel humor where serious scenes are undercut with a joke too often, and they're just kind of afraid to be serious. I feel like that hits a lot within this book. It feels like there has to be a quip very often. Sometimes it's almost formulaic every now and again, where Jacob will be saying something and then someone will cut him off mid-sentence just to insert a little quip, and then Jacob will just continue on. I thought it was entertaining. A few times it got to be a little bit like, okay, can we just let the scene breathe? That's probably my biggest complaint with it, is that it feels a bit too jokey sometimes, which is why I say this book is just fun. It's just a very fun read. So if you're not looking for anything too serious, you're probably going to have a good time with it. If you want something that takes more time to breathe in serious moments and in the darker aspects of what is happening, you're probably not going to get that here. Another minor complaint I have with it is there are two different romance plots that happen. I'm not going to say who with who or anything, but they did not feel organic to me. One of them I don't really think was supposed to be organic. I think that one was just kind of purely to be a joke. It felt like it was just there just to have a joke happen. But another one, this one is not played for any kind of jokes or haha moments. This one is like an actual relationship that starts to bud. But the leading up to these two characters getting together, I didn't sense any chemistry there. I didn't sense any kind of longing from either of them. It just kind of felt out of nowhere. And I admit, that could just be me being bad at picking up on signals. I am notoriously bad for picking up on romantic signals. So I could have just completely missed that. And that could just be a me problem. But I didn't feel like the romance was telegraphed at all. But that could just be a me problem. But overall, I think this was a really fun, zany, more lighthearted take on grimdark almost. It's very much a grimdark world where the characters do not feel like grim dark characters, which was really fun. If you like the idea of characters in a dark setting being kind of wacky, being funny, being lighthearted, uh, I definitely recommend giving this a go. If you are looking for more dark, gritty, serious, dramatic, not really going to find it here that much. Even some encounters, like fights within the book that we get, some of them end just on a gag. So if you're looking for the more serious aspects of like dark fantasy, you're probably not going to get too much out of this. But overall, I do think that it's a very fun book. If you just want to have a fun time, highly recommend it. This is actually a really rare instance where I think I would enjoy this as a movie a lot more than I enjoyed it as a book. And that is rare for me to say. But I do think that these characters could really come to life on the big screen and seeing all the action scenes. But those are just my thoughts on The Devils. If you have read it, I want to know what your thoughts are. Get down in those comments. Let me know. Let me know if you plan to read it or what else you've been reading recently, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.